So, Kay, are you ready for tonight's show?
I guess so. Right, what have you got in store?
Oh, yeah, I've got. Look, here's the thing. You know how yesterday I was saying we need to really go for more outrage?
Yeah, I didn't agree, but I remember you saying.
Yeah, well, I think I've come up with the perfect subject for outrage.
Okay. Well, I don't like the sound of that. But okay. No.
I'll just go straight ahead and introduce it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cedric and K review Israel.
What? Is Israel?
Yeah, I thought we could review Israel. It's perfect.
Why is it that sounds very dodgy to me.
No, it's perfect because, you're going to be the positive one, I'll be the negative one, like usual. So anything you say, half the world is going to be outraged at you saying good things about Israel.
Okay. I don't want to play along with this.
And anything I say,
Yeah.
well, the other half of the world's going to be outraged at that. So the outrage just wins. We just win. We'll win the fucking internet. This is how you do it. You talk about the subjects that everyone else is too scared to talk about.
But that's too scared for a reason.
Anyway, look, it's too late. You said you'd give me 10 minutes, so give me 10 minutes. Oh, yeah, okay. And sorry, whilst I remember, I thought you might want to wear this.
What? Why would I want to wear that?
It's a Jewish hat.
Yeah, when have you ever seen me wear my Jewish hat?
Well, I thought because you're talking about Israel, now would be the perfect time to wear your Jewish hat.
No, okay, right. For a start, that's one of the things we got to get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Oh, you sure you don't want to wear it?
Yeah, I'm sure. Get rid of it. Okay, right. Number one, don't confuse Jews with Israel. They got nothing to do with each other.
Well, they've got everything to do with each other, haven't they?
No, they haven't. They've got nothing. Well, they've got something to do with each other. But just because you're Jewish doesn't mean you're into Israel or connected or even think about Israel.
Yeah, well, but Israel is run by Jews.
Yeah, but say a country was run by rabbits.
Yeah, but they aren't.
But yeah, say I don't know. Jersey was run by rabbits.
Well, it isn't.
But yeah, say it was.
Yeah, okay.
Well, would that have anything to do with you?
Well, no. Why would it have anything to do with me?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So first of all, quit the Jews thing. Jews, Israel, just stop thinking about them as the same thing. Israel is a state. Jews are people who adhere to a certain religion. And on that subject, I'm not a Jew.
You are a fucking Jew.
I'm not a Jew.
Well, your dad was Jewish.
Yeah, but my dad, in Jewishness, Jewishness comes from your mum. It can't come from your dad.
You're Jewish enough to be gassed by the Nazis.
Yeah, that's true. But then I'm not Jewish enough to have a Jewish marriage.
Yeah, are you not?
No, I told you I'm not Jewish.
Yeah, but you always say that, but I know you are.
No, but I'm not.
Anyway, let's get on with the show. So, Israel. Justify and be positive about Israel.
You're putting me on the spot here somewhat.
I know, that's the whole fucking point. That's what makes this show interesting. Just get on with it. Get on with it, quickly. Answer.
Okay. Right, Israel. Well, when Israel became a country, I think it was 1948 or 47. I think it was 48, because Britain had been ruling Palestine and gave it to a Zionist organization to set up Israel because the European Jews who'd survived the appalling conditions of the Holocaust, very few survivors, but those who had, they needed somewhere safe to go. And America and Britain said, hey, have Israel.
Yeah, okay, so and how did Britain get hold of it?
Well, Britain won it as part of the First World War. And
who did they get it from?
They won it from the Ottomans.
Who are they?
Turkish.
Yeah, and how did they get hold of it?
Well, they won it from the Mamluks about early 1500s.
And who were they?
They were Egyptians.
What? So when did the Palestinians have it?
The Palestinians have never had it. They've always been ruled by other people. They had semi-autonomy in the West Bank and Gaza, but that's about it. And they still have, or did, before the recent.
You know what I call it.
Yeah, I do. Let's not go there yet. That's a big word.
Okay, I'll wait.
Okay, good. So the important thing with Israel is you've got to separate the state from the people of Israel and the people of Israel from Jews generally. No good comes from mixing all of them up.
Okay, I got it. So, Israel, are they goodies or are they baddies?
That's not a fair question, because the obvious answer at the moment is baddies, because they're on the offensive, and the country that's on the offensive is always the baddies. And yeah, they've been pretty bad for the last few years. It is true. They've killed an awful lot of people, and that is unforgivable. But you also got to remember that they are a country that feels that it has enemies on every side that are sworn to annihilate it, and particularly Iran.
Yeah, we'll come on to that, Iran. Why have they dragged us into this new fucking war?
Well, I'm not going to justify it, but
That's your job. Make sure you fucking justify it.
okay, I'll try to justify it, but I can't justify it. My understanding is that the Israeli intelligence got the idea that Iran was just a few weeks away from having an automated missile system, which would mean that once they started firing, however many leaders and commanders you killed, the missiles couldn't be stopped. And so they wanted to wipe that out before it actually went live. And that's what that was all about. Why America joined in, I don't know. But yeah, I have my suspicions. I think that's to do with Epstein. I think everything's to do with other things. I think a lot of this Israeli stuff is to do with Netanyahu wanted to keep out of prison, because he'll be arrested as soon as he's no longer in charge. So
Yeah, so what you're saying, Israel's, you can't say negative things. Remember, you're positive.
You can't be positive. Look, Israel's in the grip of a right-wing military coup, essentially. It's slowly having all of its democratic processes eroded. The people have been marching against what's going on, but they don't have any power to stop it. Likud, the ruling party, is in hock to the far right because Netanyahu is desperate to stay in power because he doesn't want to be in prison. So they're going to war for that as well. But it's also true to say that Iran did have massive missile silos automated because they've been sending out missiles continually since the war started, and it's also true to say that Iran was sworn to eradicate them.
Okay, so that's your positive slant, is Israel what?
Well, just Israel has a right to exist. There was a time when you could discuss, should Israel exist? And that was in 1948 when it was founded. Should America and Britain have given Israel to the Zionists or given it to the Palestinians? Those are decisions that, at the time could have been changed. But now you've got 3 generations of Israelis. They've got nowhere to go back to. They've got as much of a right to be there as anybody else. The way they've treated Palestinians is appalling. But that's not everyone. That's just a system. It's like apartheid South Africa. Not everyone was doing it. But yeah, a lot of people benefit from it, and that needs to be stopped. But that doesn't mean Israel should be eradicated, which is what will probably happen as soon as America stops backing Israel, because the only reason it survived is because of American backing, seems to me. I mean, I don't know anything, so don't take me seriously. But that's my feeling. Israel has a right to exist. That's my feeling. It doesn't have a right to do appalling things to the Palestinians, but it does have a right to exist.
Okay, right. This is my slant. Remember, I'm anti-Israel. I'm the far-right candidate here. Okay,
Don't get anti-Semitic on me, though.
Yeah, but that's part of far-right ideology. That's what
We're not chasing far right. Okay, just be reasonable.
Okay. Well, what about a fucking genocide?
Well, okay. The elephant in the room, the genocide in Gaza. Yes, that's appalling. That's appalling. And those who are involved need to be held to account, and it needs to be investigated. I'm not going to justify it for a second. Doesn't mean Israel needs to be wiped off the map. And it doesn't mean that people need to turn against Jews all around the world, which is what seems to be happening at the moment. Anti-Semitism is rising everywhere because of it. I have nothing to do with that.
That's what you say.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I was joking.
Yeah, I know you were joking, but your jokes aren't funny when you're talking about things like that. Okay, so other than that,
Well, Israel, they're just motherfuckers, aren't they? From the very beginning, they don't obey international rules. They don't, their spy agency is the most feared spy agency in the world because they'll just do whatever the fuck they want. They never do things the proper way. They just get what they want. They'll just, So, they're fuckers and they need to be put in their place.
What is their place? I said you've got to be specific.
I don't know.
Are you saying you think Israel should be eradicated?
Of course not. I'm not like that. Although as a far right commentator, you're not a far right commentator. Just play along.
I don't want to play along with that game. I'm not playing along with that game.
Okay. As a far right commentator, I obviously hate the Jews. But hold on, look, I'm getting confused.
Why are you getting confused?
Right, if I'm going to be far right,
I don't want you to be far right.
If I'm going to be far right, though, I'm sort of what you want. If I'm going to be far right for the views, I'm anti-Semitic, right, aren't I? I think Jews are evil and they want to rule the world.
No, I'm not going anywhere with this with you.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. If I'm far right, well, I guess so. But if I'm far right, I support Israel against the Palestinians. Is that right?
Yeah, it does seem to be. Yeah.
Well, why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe Jews are just seen as a bit more white than Muslims.
You might have hit the nail on the head there. Maybe that's why.
And that's why, the left seems to be very much on the support of the Palestinians, because Palestinians are the underdogs, which they obviously are, and they don't deserve what they're getting, and it's appalling.
Yeah. So really, it's all about brown people, really. The right wing supports Israel because they're less brown than their enemies, like Iranians and the others. Who are the others?
Well, I don't know. They're terrorist organisations based in lots of local countries, on the borders.
Yeah, well, all of them. Okay, so, you know what? I think I think we bit off more than we can chew here.
Yeah, no, I did warn you.
Okay, well, I'll try and sum up then. Okay, so, Israel. Turns out it's all a lot more complicated than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and I did tell you it would be. And I think we should steer clear of those kinds of subjects in future. I think, it's a bit dodgy, but yeah, okay.
So, yeah, Israel, more complicated than you'd think. I think that's it. I think we've solved Israel then. It's more complicated than you'd think.
I don't think we've solved anything.
Yeah, well, that's our catchphrase at the end. We've solved.
Really? You can't solve Israel. It's just not. It's not something that can be solved. It doesn't need solving.
Yeah, well, that's what we say. Anyway, right. I think you're right. I think we're going to go for something a bit simpler tomorrow, but equally drawing of those kinds of obsessive people that might like and subscribe. Because, let's face it, our current viewers, they're not liking and they're not subscribing.
I know, but, I don't want to go there.
Okay, right, well, I'm off to write tomorrow's, and make sure you get a good night's sleep, because you'll need it, okay?
What do you mean I'll need it?
Never you mind. See you tomorrow.
Okay, well, thanks for watching. I hope... I don't think we should have done that subject, really. I think that's too difficult a subject, and without proper how do you prepare for a subject like that? How can you even have a... truth is, I'm not Israeli. I'm not Palestinian. How can I even have a valid opinion? And as for Cedric, he has opinions on everything, doesn't he? But, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that one should just go in the editing bin, but knowing him, he's going to put it out. Anyway, see you guys tomorrow.